have to have that duality. In order to know good, you have to know bad. You know, in order to know pain, to know pleasure. That kind of that old biscuit, that paradigm. So, what are my thoughts on it? Well, my thoughts on it are not Shastra, so I don't know. My thoughts on it can be changed in a heartbeat. But what I'm thinking is, right now, as I'm talking, not even like I even thought this thought through, but like the reference that Prabhupada would give about the sun, how the atoms of the sun come all the way from the sun, you know, to the earth, and we can feel its heat, and they're part and parcel of the sun, although minute in quantity, but the same in quality, right? But they're so far away from the sun that, you know, it doesn't burn us up, that we can bask in it and enjoy it. But if we sit out in it too long, it gives us a sunburn or a melanoma in the worst cases. But let's just say, maybe because we are the fringe atoms, you know? And maybe the physical law of gravity, of you know, lesser objects being attracted to a greater object are somehow lessened because of our fringe nature. Like we're the atoms that are dwelling on the edge, on the peripheral of the whole, of the Vaikuntha, you know, pastime. And here we are dancing around, and then eventually we stray so far from the source, from the sun, that material energy becomes attractive, becomes curiously attractive. I really, you know, I don't have an answer for it. It's more of a question. Anyway, this is a thought that I had this morning. Because every time I made a lecture, and at the end of the lecture, I ask for questions. I don't have no questions. I always think of something to say, but I can't come up with anything at that time, you know? And today, this popped into my head, and I said, ooh, the next lecture I go to, and they ask for questions, I'm going to ask, why did we turn away, you know? Why, if we're facing the Supreme, and we're facing, you know, the reservoir of bliss, the reservoir of knowledge, the reservoir of all eternity, for some reason, we chose to turn away and look at Maya. And I think this question came to me, and I hate to put it like this, because last night I was watching The Matrix with Keanu Reeves. Yeah. And the guy was like ready to eat the steak. And he's like, I know the steak doesn't exist. Everything in my body, you know what I mean, knows that this steak is not real. And that if I eat it, the taste of it is just given to me by the computer, by the Matrix, telling me that it's juicy, that it's tender, that it's nice, you know? Because I know that I really live in this other world, you know?
It's that propensity to try to be, if not, yeah, to be there and enjoy it. Because he knows it's not real, but he wants to enjoy.
Well, we're already enjoying it, yes.
Well, not necessarily. When you come into contact with the illusory nature, well, the illusory nature basically means the temporal nature, that which is subject to temporality. And you know it's temporal, but you try to enjoy it anyway as an eternal being. Then that's where...
Yes, that's what causes all of our problems in life. Like, that's why people have anxieties, paranoids. Probably most of the phobias have to do with the fact that, you know, people can't enjoy continuously. So they know their life is limited. They know they're going to die. And so they trade their time so, you know, eventually they can just relax and enjoy. But because they, you know, they're one of the stumbling blocks every day. You know, your boss is on your back, your kids are creating chaos, your neighbor's a dick, you know, you work, slave all day, you come home, and now you find you're only, you know, you got to pay your bills, your light bills, your phone bills, your car note, your television bills, all these things. And as that draws on you, you know, you start to look for other material substances to make you happy. You want to drink beer, have a cigarette, you know, do these things where I just want to relax. I just want to come home and relax with a beer and a cigarette. Is that so wrong? Is that so wrong? You know?
Like numb yourself from the reality of the thing.
But what ends up happening is, you know, you get so caught up in beers and cigarettes that, you know, you neglect, you know, the dog's coming at you now. He wants to be petted, you know what I mean? Because you're finally home. This dog loves you. You know, you bought this dog, you feed this dog, you bought it for the kids. You don't really, you know, but now this dog's getting in your way, the television, you know, he's knocking over your beer and the ashtray. You know, because why? Because you can't enjoy your beer and because, you know, you're not getting your bliss enough. You know, because you know you can't enjoy it eternally. I only got so many minutes in the day before I got to go back to work. I got to sit at home and have a cigarette and beer before I eat. And then, I got to listen. The kids got to do their homework. I got to take Junior to soccer practice. Excuse me, sorry. You know, everything can become so hectic and so forgetful that, you know, I mean, especially in Kali Yuga, you know, we become so forgetful that unless we dovetail all of our time and trying to, you know, get back to Godhead, it doesn't work, right? Like, you literally have to think about it so often that just in case you get hit from a lightning bolt or the house falls on you or a tree falls on you, that at that moment, you know that you're going to go to Vaikuntha because you're going to, Krishna's going to be the last thing I think about because I'm thinking about it all the time, right? If I slip for a minute, I can get hit by a bus, and I'm going to think, oh, what nice tires this bus has. Or, you know what I mean? You have the smell of the motor oil or whatever, and then get caught up in that cycle of reincarnation. You're not going to be thinking about Krishna, God, or, you know, going to heaven, going to Zion, going to Vaikuntha, going to wherever, you know, your destination is. No 72 virgins, no nothing, because you're not thinking of it all the time. I don't know. My experience has been a little bit different, just a little bit, because I was in a motorcycle accident when I was at my most fun. After I came back from India, you know, and I was freshly rejuvenated in you know, in the practice. My hair was cut and I was ready to, you know, just to sadhu it out, you know. But until I got to the point where I started associating with my motorcycle club, which I was a part of, you know, previously. And so as I got reintroduced to the motorcycle club, I was like, I'll be able to balance this, you know. But before I knew it, you know, I'm doing all the same outlaw stuff that outlaws do, you know. And I got into a motorcycle accident one day. And me and my girlfriend was on the back. And I died. I was in a coma for 5 days. Yeah. And I was at my most fallen, man. I'm telling you, I was doing, I probably was breaking every one of the tenets, the 4 regular principles. And I wasn't chanting. The only principle I probably didn't break was gambling. I'm not a gambler, so I didn't go gambling. A lot of people would gamble. I never gambled. At least, you know, not for money. If I played cards or spades or something, it was just for fun. You know, I never played for money. But that being said, I was eating weed. I was having illicit sex. I was using intoxicants. I was not chanting. You know, and that's probably what could be said about me at that time. So I got no motorcycle, but I was already surrendered to my Guru Dev. He expected me to follow my 4 basic, you know, regular principles and chant. So anyway, that being said, when I was dead in my coma, I was in a coma for 5 days, but I remember.
This is around around what year?
2013. It was June 23rd, 2013. Yeah. So I got into this accident where somebody was actually literally turned right in front of me, coming from the opposite direction, so I just T-boned them. And they had to helicopter me to the hospital. And what I remember was coming to and sitting with my Guru Maharaj. Now, it was just like if I was sitting with you. It was a very physical experience. I remember the smell of the air. I remember feeling my physical presence. You know, and I remember feeling his physical presence. And I knew I was dead because he had passed a couple years prior, you know? So I was like, oh my God. And it dawned on me immediately that I'm seeing him sitting here, which means I'm dead, you know? And, you know, he just gave the most knowing, loving looks and gestures. I remember him explaining something to me, which is nothing that I can readily relate to right now, because I was so absorbed with the fact that I'm dead that I wasn't paying attention to the knowledge being hit to me right now. And so I remember asking and begging, please, Maharaj, can I go back? Because I have a daughter. She's just, you know, turning a teenager. She can't do without me at this point. Her mother's already gone. And it's just me and her. She's at my parents' house. My parents can't raise her. You know, so I remember saying this to him, like, please, be there for her, you know? And he just smiled. And I remember also bargaining with him as well. I remember being like, I know I've been most foreign. I know I've been eating meat. Please, if you let me go back, I'll stop eating meat. I'll do anything, you know what I mean? I know now that I need to get back up, you know, on my game. I need to get back. And so he smiled, this knowing smile, he closed his eyes and nodded. And as soon as he went full nod, my eyes opened up and I was in the hospital. Tubes were in my throat and in my body, and, you know, hooked up like a robot, man. You ever seen any of those science fiction movies, right? You get hooked up. The Matrix, I was like the Matrix. Stuff in my throat, coming out my sides and my arms, you know? The nurses were like, "Oh my God, he's awake." I said, "Don't move, you know, don't move. We got to keep this tube in your throat for another 12 hours. 12 hours, because they said that, you know."
How long did you say you were in a coma?
5 days.
5 days.
5.5 days in a coma. In the hospital for like 4 months. And they put an internal fixator. I shattered. See, the thing is, I shattered my pelvis. I broke both my wrists. When I got into the motorcycle accident, I slid up the tank of the motorcycle. So my groin got caught on the gas cap, and I tore myself in the middle. They said I would not be able to have children again, which I'm glad to say. I have a 2-year-old son since then, you know, and he's, again, a miracle baby. Yeah, it was rough, man. It was rough. I don't remember much after the accident. They say I was screaming and cursing, and I kept trying to get up. And I had 2 broken wrists. I got 9 pins in this wrist and 6 in this one. So every time I got up, I would just fall back over, you know? And it was pretty intense. You know, especially waking up in the hospital 5 days later, like, you know. And again, what I didn't like is the doctors and nurses, they just kept bullshitting me. Like, I was asking, how bad is the damage? Because I didn't feel in pain. Like, for whatever the drugs they gave me worked perfectly. I was on a dilaudid drip, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember my casts, and I couldn't see below my waist. I was totally naked. They didn't have me in a gown or nothing, you know. I just had a sheet on. And that's how I stayed for 4 months, completely naked, like in bed. It was pretty far out. And what a, you know, a nice experience, just not having to wear clothes for all that time. I mean, I wish I could have stood up, but, you know, the fact that I was laying down. But, yeah, it was weird. They kept saying I might be out in a week or 2. I might be out in a week, you know. And the whole summer went by. 4 months went by, and I was in the hospital. I had a daughter, and she lived in Maine with her mother, and she came down for the summer. I only got to see her like two or three times when she came to visit. You know, and I wouldn't have minded if I mentally prepared myself to stay in the hospital that long, you know. But they kept putting it, you know, "Oh no, you're gonna go home anytime." After 4 months, then they want to put me in a nursing home, and I'm like, "No, send me home. If I can go to a nursing home, I can go home. No reason. You can send a nurse to me once a day to check on me, or once a week, whatever." Eventually, I did do that. I ended up going home, staying in. I got a hospital bed, and I put that in the living room. Stayed in the hospital bed. I lived on that bed for almost a year, you know, before I was able to transition to a wheelchair, get myself into a wheelchair. Went from a wheelchair, and then they took the fixators out, and I could go in a walker, and then it became, now I can skip and hop and walk. I can't really run though. That's the problem. I can't run away. You know, I'm not. I used to be. I was a ninja. You know, I was in my early 40s, and I was a ninja. You know, I could still hop a fence. Yeah. You know, parkour, whatever. I could, you know, climb a mountain. You know, whatever. I could do these things. Now, you know, I could walk. I can't run. You know, if there's a riot, hey, there's a problem. I got to stand my ground until I'm down. I can't, because I remember when I was healing and I was on the bed one day. Now this was a messed up day because everybody was out of the house. I was the only one home. And supposedly everything was left within my reach. You know, something to eat, something to drink, my medicine. You know, I had to do the worst thing. I used to give myself a needle in my stomach twice a day. You know, because I couldn't walk, so they didn't want blood clots, so I had to take a piece of blood thinner. So twice a day, in my stomach, to give myself a needle. And all these little things, other little things. But this one day I'm laying there on the couch and everybody's gone. And I guess it was around in America, so it was around the 4th of July. I don't know if it was before or after, but somebody had firecrackers still. You know what I mean? Like big ones.
Yeah.
So as I'm laying there, in the daytime, things are blowing up. Boom, boom, boom. You know, and it sounded like war. You know what I mean? And all I kept thinking was, oh my God, here it goes. The revolution started, and now I'm stuck here, and I can't do. I'm just gonna get killed. Like they're gonna come run in the house, and here I am laying on the couch. Bah, 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 bah. I'm gonna die. I can't even run the safety. I can't do anything. Not let alone participate. I can't do anything. And I really got scared. Like I really got, you know, like I'm helpless. I'm here in this house and I'm helpless. Somebody breaks in, I'm here. I can't do anything.
Did you have your guitar?
I did have a guitar. I don't know if I could play it at that point. There was a long period because of the pain in my wrists that I couldn't grip a guitar like this. Like I remember when I was in the hospital or in the nursing home, somebody brought me a guitar just to see if I could. It wasn't a nursing home. It was a rehab. That's a lower foot, and they tried to switch me to rehab. But so anyway, I'm in the rehab, and I couldn't rehab because I couldn't move. People would come to me, you know, leg rock rehab people, and all right, come on, we're gonna get you to walk today. I'm like, I can't walk. Well, what do you mean you can walk? You can do anything you put your mind to. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I have a fixator in my hip. I had these things that came out, these holes that were drilled into my pelvis, sticking out to here, you know, and then they had X's to try and like just keep my pelvis in one place because there was pins in that, and it was wrapped in mesh, trying to keep all the pieces together. The doctor said nobody's ever survived. He's seen nobody ever survive with the wounds that I had. He was just surprised. He said they brought me in on the helicopter. All they can keep doing, and this was the motion that he made, which is not a good motion for a doctor to make. When he said we just had to keep packing you and packing you between the legs so you wouldn't bleed to death. I'm like, okay. Hectic, bro. It was hectic. Our body, treat your body the best, you know, eat the best, healthiest food, find out what prescribed manner it needs to be, etc. and so forth. But in the end, you're going to die. It's temporary still.
Down the stairs, so I got this band around my elbow. Yeah.
Well, we'll give you what you want to do. That was A to C. Folks drum, you know.
Blood flow. Yeah. Let me see if I can take it off and just play with the pain.
Have you I think it's something easier for you to do. One string. show you if you want to play bass, man. Just pick up, you see somebody banging away on the drums,
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But that backbone.
So yeah, so you're like recovering from your coma, all this.
And yeah, and you know what was weird was I was in the hospital. I couldn't use the bottom half of my body for so long. But they had a colostomy bag on me and a tube that was going into my bladder, so I would urinate in this other bag. I had 2 bags, 2 other products that I had to use, and plus the blood thinners. Oh, I couldn't wait to get these things off, you know what I mean? And I think after about a year or so, they took the urine bag off. They took this thing was literally a straw that just went into a hole in my belly all the way to my bladder. And I wanted to take it out several times, but they said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to let a doctor take it out. I went to the doctor. You know what he did? He pulled it out. He didn't do nothing special. No, I don't even know, he might have rubbed a little alcohol around it, you know what I mean? But he didn't do nothing special. It was for insurance purposes. You know, he got paid thousands of dollars to pull that thing out. He just sticks it up or nothing. He's like the hole closed on its own. Now I still got the scar there. A little divot. It looked like another belly button or something. And they used to have this hole, this straw. And then finally, yeah, they connected back up my intestines and then they got rid of the colostomy bag too. Oh. And then when I was free of products, I knew I could travel the world again. You know, get me out of New Jersey. It's time to go places. And yeah, eventually I came, here to Africa. And, miracle after miracle. Like things just like this is what I was meant to be. But I don't think I would have gotten here if I didn't in that accident. I might have just perfectly been content playing the role of a rogue motorcycle, bad boy, outlaw. I look back on that way. I'm not saying I met some nice people, really tight family guys I respect that I can hang out with,
Since we have been waiting down here, we have suffered and felt the pain.
And many times I would ride that motorcycle to the AnantaKrsna temple in Philly. And I would take off my leather belt and stuff it in my boots, keep everything outside the temple by the motorcycle. So I'd have to walk across the parking lot like stones, barefoot, to try to get it. It was just fun. I mean, not that anybody would have looked twice, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so he has leather boots and a leather belt, like, riding a motorcycle, you know what I mean? Like, I would just make sure, in my head, it just weighed on me. I'm going to keep this stuff in the parking lot. I don't even want to put it there, because everyone keeps their own shoes and things, Luckily, nobody ever walked away with it. What's Philadelphia? People see a pair of boots laying there next to a Harley. They might take them. Nobody ever.
So what are some of the realizations
Well, what do you mean, like being in a motorcycle club and like being a devotee and stuff?
Yeah, and
look, Bob Dylan said it best. You gotta serve somebody. It might be the devil, it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. You know what I mean? In this world, it's all about service, And the one thing a motorcycle club expects is service. You give service to a motorcycle club and they serve you. It's just like anything. Service to the state supposedly serves you. You serve God, and God bestows his blessings on you. Or at least, the one thing I noticed is, at least the way I like to go on with life is serve God, right? Don't tell your actions. Everything. All the right things, but still live life like an atheist almost. You know what I mean? Like, don't expect anything from God. Like, you shouldn't be in this world expecting because I'm doing these good things that my life should now, I should be able to walk on flower petals. While everybody else is trying through broken glass. It doesn't work like that. It just makes those cuts a little bit more in perspective. You know what I mean? Because I have this knowledge of God, I can see why, okay, we all gotta work on broken glass. Well, understand it more. It's not that I expect God to pave the way in the broken glass for me. You know what I mean? There's lessons I still have to face, and I think it's pretty presumptuous to assume that a higher power is going to solve problems that we got ourselves in, especially once you accept, you know, the relationship of karma and actually, you know, the problems of how karma can, you know, build up, and then you have to face these lessons, you know, that you may not have faced in previous lifetimes, let alone in this one, you know. I like to think that, you know, once we have instant karma, that we're kind of caught up. You know, as soon as I do something wrong, something bad happens to me, almost immediately. And some people might curse that, oh, this damn instant karma. As soon as I do something wrong, I get the reaction immediately. But that's really a good thing, because that means maybe you don't have so much to catch up with, you know, from past lives. Maybe. I mean, that's just a subject. It's me trying to figure it out, but without any clear knowledge from Sasha, which probably answers this question. You know what I mean? I like to think any question man has is answered in the Vedas. You know, I mean, they tell you everything. How to brush your teeth, how to eat, what to eat, how to, you know. I mean, it tells you everything. How to have sex, how to conduct your married life, how to conduct your, single life, your student life. Like, everything is in there. How to do things properly, you know?
I think it's funny how people to this day, anyway, maybe it might be too benefit of the other, thinking that the Vedas or presenting the idea that the Vedas are religious, whereas they're like an instruction manual.
Yeah, it's secular. It's secular because even back then, when they were written, God was a part of secular everyday life. You know what I mean? There's this deity for this deity for that. If I want this to happen, I go to this deity. You know what I mean? And all this is explained in there. Even the Mahabharata. I mean, one of the first times I never read the Mahabharata Vedically. You know what I mean? Like breaking down the translation, the Sanskrit and stuff. But I've seen the entire serial. Like, it was like 100 something episodes or 79. It was like a lot of episodes. You know, going back, and I remember when I was watching it, I thought to myself, oh my God, this is like every, you know, soap opera or every movie that I've ever seen. The plot is being revealed in the Mahabharata. You know what I mean? Like, it's all there. It's the, you know, the jealous lovers. It's the promises that are unfulfilled. It's the curses. It's all these things, you know, and they're there. There's not an original idea under the sun. And if you can go back to some of the oldest texts that explain human life, you'll see they're doing the same things that we are today, just without an iPhone. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's the same exact stuff, man.
Chewing the chew, as it were.
Yeah. Chewing the chew. That's all we do over and over again. There's nothing new.
Yeah.
You know, rock and roll is just a little bit of blues mixed with gospel. R&B is just gospel again mixed with a little rock and roll. And then you have, you know, punk is just rock and roll sped up, you know, with a little less knowledge of chord structure. I don't know, but everything is built off of something. You know, we're all building from the foundations previously. Yeah. Whether we're on board with what they did or trying to change what they did, you know, we're still building on what came before us. You know, and unfortunately, we're also building upon everybody's fears and paranoias and phobias and, you know, stuff like that. That also has a chain of life of its own once it's enacted, you know? Especially now, you know, because once you influence, back in the old days, you influence one person, you might influence another person, you know, you might influence everybody that you can hear, but it's very difficult to influence everybody, you know? Nowadays, with social media, memes, and, you know, you influence everybody. You can piss somebody off that was in a great mood. They could be scrolling, la-da-da-da-da, and all of a sudden they see that one thing, and then next thing you know, it's a thread of 60 calls or 60 Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. I saw a guy on the internet yesterday asking for food for him and his family, right? Yeah. He had 2 small kids, a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old, a young wife, and he himself looked young. And these cats were on a Grateful Dead page, the Grateful Dead family, right? So there's a bunch of hippies that go on tour with the Grateful Dead. And or whatever incarnations of these hippie festivals that they have today. They're all dead. Now, the mixed bag of half the people telling this guy to get a job, you got a family now, you shouldn't be on the computer begging for food, especially because he was asking for the least inexpensive thing that he could beg for. Please, can I get some McDonald's or a pizza? You know what I mean? To feed my family for the night. A lot of people, get a job, you hippie, you cut your hair, da, 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 da. You know, the typical obvious things. The other half of the people were like, oh man, I'm so sorry, you gotta go through this, and you know, maybe you should go to find a church, something, place that you can find food. I told him to find a AnantaKrsna temple. You know, maybe he can find some of the knowledge that, you know, maybe you do need to get off this tour and start worrying about your family. You guys they were young, you know, they were young kids, young hippies. And I'm afraid these young hippies are taking the not so positive self-reliance message of the original hippies of the 60s. You know what I mean? Not rely on society, want to go off and start a commune, wanting to do everything on their own, see the world. You know.
Most of them back then had some sort of trade, some skill.
They were a mix of suburbanites, you know, they still had a little bit of something, a little income, a little something to sell, a little something to trade off of, education to work off of. And very few of them were just homeless, drug addict derelict. They eventually came because it was attractive, you know, to be a homeless drug addict and live with all these young kids, free love, free sex, you know, intellectual pursuits, you know, which ended up becoming material pursuits, you know, because at the time that's what they were rebelling against, but in the long run, that's what they ended up conforming to, you know, the baby boomers or whatever, are the same ones that, you know, the Bill Gates generation and Wall Street, stock market, these were all children of the 60s, you know what I mean, that are old, people that kind of figured out how to manipulate the system a certain way. I mean, again, I'm not saying this to everybody with their intention, but that's life happens. We become forgetful. You know, a lot of people traded in their tie-dyes for a business suit when their families came. A lot of the people of Woodstock, and with Woodstock, you see them nowadays, you know, they're fucking down suburbanites, you know, playing golf, doing all those things they probably would have criticized their parents for doing in the 60s. And it's nothing to be ashamed about because it's life. Like I said, life is change. And unless you are devout in being conscious all the time, you know, you're going to become forgetful. You're going to turn away from God and you're going to face Maya. Originally, you know, just like we were talking about, why do the individuals so do it? Because, you know, it doesn't, you know, like some people say it doesn't matter why. You know, we're not curing the disease by figuring out what caused it. We have to now fight the symptoms of the disease.
I tried to jam on that.
On this one? Yeah, it's not easy, man. It's steel strings, and it's, you know, it's not a good guitar, so the fret displacement's off the neck, so you got to really press to get the note. If you ever play a real good guitar, the amount of, you know, just the least little, it's like, oh gosh, that's nicest thing. But what's good with these crappy acoustics is once you can play a crappy acoustic, and you pick up an electric, especially a nice electric, not one with a high bridge, nice electric, a BC rich, really wiry strings. And you just feel like you could do anything. It's like you know, like you've been jogging with, you know, a 50-kilo bat knapsack on, and then take it off. Wow! You can run up the hill. It's amazing. Yeah. Which you can also equate to spiritual life. You know what I mean? Once you ditch all that material stuff off your back, hey, the progress that you make in your life. You know, once you finally surrender. Oh, bro, you know how long it took me to surrender? Surrender? Serve somebody?
Surrender is an ongoing process, eh?
It definitely is, yeah. Because you sometimes think you're surrendered, but you realize how resistant you are against things. And I'm from New Jersey. We don't surrender to nothing. Like, people in New Jersey will die.
You brave it.
They surrender to anybody. Like, they'll just suffer with it. You know?
That was one of the first things that I had trouble with when I came across the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Because everywhere is surrender. Surrender. And I was like, what does this surrender mean? Does it mean like a defeated, I need to give up?
Give everybody everything. I don't have nothing now no more, you know? Like, what's he going to do with it? like I think the Guru's going to want my record collection and my money for his own personal, you know what I mean? Yeah. Pleasure. Like, no, man. He's just trying to say, you just, you know, I don't know, man. Once you have that knowledge, man, or at least you start to get on that path of knowledge, you want more of it, and everything else just starts to seem more and more absurd. And you start to become embarrassed and you know, what else to live. Like, look, there's nothing like a new convert to be a pain in the neck. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's new to something speaks the most about it. You know what I mean? But no, you're doing this wrong. And I learned this today.
But actually, I heard that's good though.
I'm sure it is good. Because
in the person's journey, because what it does is it puts you there, and then you start realizing as you go on. It's almost like shedding those feathers, as it were.
Yes.
Because you need to have that, what's the word? Fanaticism.
Fanaticism, yes.
Yeah, in order to like, you're going to take in that pseudo purity kind of thing. Yeah, and then it just like helps you when the storm comes. You know?
Yes.
And you start shedding that excess weight or that unneeded craziness.
I remember saying to somebody once, she just read this book by somebody, and she says to me, "Oh no, da-da-da-da-da-da." You know, and I'm like, "Where'd you hear that?" She goes, "I just read this book." You know, and somebody said, I said, "Yeah, it's a nice philosophy. Till you read another book that's going to change your mind." Like, you got that hype over that right there. You know what I mean? When you're going to read another book, you're going to be like, "Oh my God, this guy's right. No, this guy's right. No, this guy's right." And I think that's the importance of surrendering. When you finally surrender to your spiritual master, who you supposedly, you checked him out, he's checked you out, everything, you know what I mean, is on a par level. And then you do your surrender. You know, he's giving you something that you can never repay. He's giving you something, like I said, like my guru gave me something that I thought was in my rearview mirror until it was right in front of my face again. You know what I mean? Which was, I'm going to die. So now, where am I going? You know what I mean? What's happening to me? What is my position now that I'm this, dacoit and I'm dying? You know what I mean? But I've surrendered. I know I've had the utmost faith that my guru was right, but because of my poor condition, my unfortunate condition, I wasn't able to see it at that time.
You know, I like this millennial gung-ho spirit. At the same time, it scares me to, you know, because when you're mentioning those two things, you come to the realization that I'm gonna die, right? And then the other thing is, well, you know, I'm fallen, and here's my Guru Maharaj, and he's telling me this, and well, I have to surrender, you know. But then this new gung-ho spirit is like, you know, F it, I'm gonna die, and so what?
Yeah. And you only live once. Might as well go out and do this.
Yeah, and who are you to tell me anything, kind of thing. Which is like, it scares me like anything. You know, like
it's dangerous. Even my children are of this mind. You know, the millennials, 21, 22, and they're in America. My one daughter's a chef. My other one works in the healthcare industry. But they're both. They're both not drawing on the influences that the obvious influences that I tried influencing them with, right? They might listen to the music, some of the music I listen to, like, you know, my daughter told me, I listen to some Grateful Dead Dad or some Steely Dan and, you know, stuff like that. I keep saying to my daughter, have you been to the Krishna temple since you've been to culinary school? Have you gone, you know, you're in Albuquerque, New Mexico now. Isn't there a Krishna temple in Albuquerque? Can't you find, or Albuquerque, and not Albuquerque, she's in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas.
Ooh, there's a nice temple.
There's a nice temple in Austin, right? So I'm like, can't you go to this temple? Oh, I'll find my way. She Googled it, she found how far it was, she saw a picture of it. It looks like a house. I'm like, no, it's a temple, you should go. You know, yeah, that's going to cost, you know, just every excuse in the book, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's going to cost us much money to Uber there, and I don't have any money, and da-da-da-da-da this, and da-da-da-da-da that.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad, like when she was a baby, she used to love going to the temple. You know what I mean? And for some reason, somewhere along the line, maybe it was my influence, I don't know what I did, or, you know, to make her think like, you you know, this is in my rear view now, you know. She took initiation, but she was a child. She didn't really have no choice in it. And actually, because she wasn't even awake, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So she was still asleep. I just asked the guru to also give her a name also, you know, so he gave her a name. And, but she does not, you know, she'll ask, "But Dad, what's my name again?" You know what I mean? Like, she don't know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Don't really play on it. And I sometimes think, is he there for her the same way he's been there for me, you know? Even though she's completely oblivious to it. You know what I mean? And we're so fallen, and we're not twice born, and we're not, you know what I mean? Like all these things, you know, like just weigh on me conscious. Like when you hear people talk about, you know, oh, you're wasting your time if you do your japa, but you don't, you know, say the pancha tattva pranam before it, or, you know, you're wasting your time if, you know, you don't to surrender to a guru, you know, you're just going through the motions, but not really doing it. And, you know, I don't think really anything's a waste of time, you know, personally. You know, some things, they endear us to our cult, they endear us to our God brothers, they endear us to our philosophy. But, you know, I don't think any of our actions wastes time, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
it's part of
learn our lessons, yeah.
They're building blocks. They're part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Like my wife's, you know, she does 1 round a day now. She's just learning, you know, and the last thing I want to tell her is you're just wasting your time. You know what I mean? Just put it down. So I'm like, well, I might as well just sleep some more then. You know what I mean? Why get up early and do this 1 round? You know, but it's giving her this, and she's feeling the charge from it, you know? Yeah. She's not wasting her time. And when I see both her and my daughter doing it, you know, my 7-year-old and my 2-year-old jumping up and down saying, "Harry Bowl, bro," I'm telling you, I want to cry. Like, it's just, it's so nice. It's so nice. And imagine to see Krishna playing and playing his flute and dancing with everybody. You know, Shiva's sitting there like a little gopi guarding the gate with tears in her eyes, you know?
Yeah.
These guys are mad, man. My toe and eyes, your elbow and shoulder.
Yeah, and I can't take painkillers, you know.
Why?
Got a little problem.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, his body's just falling apart. It's like, so I just gotta like either go get
painkillers. Look, man, I can't believe I took them oxys for so long, and you know, there's an opioid epidemic in America.
Yeah,
there's an overprescription of these drugs because they said that they weren't addictive, but it turned out they are addictive. And thankfully, I was able to get off them. I got tired of the, you know, once I felt like I was healed enough, and that the pills were actually holding me back and not preventing my pain, you know, that I stopped taking them, and I had to use not that I had to use it. I mean, this was something I was more comfortable using, but I used cannabis for my pain medication. You know what I mean? Go through 3 days of withdrawal when you get off opiates, and it's hell. You know, it's not. I mean, I don't know about other people's experiences. I can't never talk about other people's experiences. You know, but it was 3 days for me of like, you know, you're nauseous sometimes. You can't eat. You want to eat, but you can't eat. You can't sleep. You get like fibromyalgia in your toes and your fingers and stuff like that, you know, like tingling sensations in the middle of the night. It's just uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable, you know. You're not being ripped to shreds. You're not in pieces. But at some point you feel like you are. You know, you just want to stretch, but you can't get that stretchiness out of you. It's a very bad feeling, right? Nothing that couldn't be calmed or lessened or even negated completely by, you know, burning ganja. You know, that being said, as a medicine, as the medicinal use for it, not as a, you know, I just want to get high to enjoy life, material life kind of thing. It's the same, you know, it got me off of opiates. You know, it made me sleep when I couldn't sleep. It made me eat when I couldn't eat. It made my stomach calm down when it was nauseous. You know, it's something that should definitely be prescribed to anybody trying to get off of substances, other, you know, not even other, just to get off of intoxicants, you know. I don't consider ganja an intoxicant only because there's not been a discovered toxic level of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not been a level to say, if I smoke this much ganja, I'm going to die because it's toxic to my system. On the other hand, I mean, there's actually an endocannabinoid system in your body that the cannabis molecules literally lock in, you know what I mean, and then activate healing properties in your body. You know what I mean? They fight cancer, it fights, you know, neurological diseases, palsies, and things like that. And, I mean, it goes on and on. Everybody, you know, you can Google all the medical effects of cannabis and ganja. So I refrain from calling it toxic because there is no toxic dose that's been discovered yet in over 5,000 years of recorded history. You know, people say they use it for this.
So you'd say it's a stimulant because then it kind of like shocks.
It is. It is.
Like,
Okay, yeah, it's a stimulant.
Yeah.
But just like any stimulant, it does have potential for overuse. You know what I mean? Anything that makes you feel, it's like food. You know, we need food to live. But because if you use food as a comfort tool, you're going to become overweight, and then diseases, you know, build from that, diabetes, whatever.
So the body has all those things that it needs.
Yes, your body uses the molecules that are in the cannabinoids of ganja plants. You know, THC, CBD. These are the two big ones that everybody's just discovering now. You know, all these myriad of beneficial uses. That being said, it still can be an anartha towards devotional service if you rely on the experience you get from it as, you know, your devotion. You can't smoke a spliff and expect to retain the knowledge of the sastra. You know what I mean? When you study, you know. And it was weird. Like growing up the way I grew up as a Rasta, you know, smoking ganja, copious amounts of ganja, and raising my daughter, who saw me smoking ganja constantly, you know, and not smoking cigarettes or doing anything else, like just praising this herb. Having a book on the back of the toilet, you know what I mean, of like all these different strains of ganja. So whenever she would use the toilets, that was the book she read, this ganja book. I would come home with ganja. This was when she's 7 years old. She'd be like, "Let's see what you got," you know what I mean, and lining up the buds with what I had. Oh, yeah, it's this strain, it's that, you know, juicy fruit, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, it really is too. I'm surprised she got it right so many times. She did not smoke ganja until maybe in college. You know, she tried it. She still doesn't smoke it, you know, a lot. But what was proud of me is I always explain to her, as your body's growing, you can't introduce foreign substances that can alter your growing process in your body. You don't want your brain to grow a certain way, or your lungs, or your heart, or whatever, muscles, because you're introducing substances that are meant for a body that's already grown. But that being said, this was before all the research about the endocannabinoid system and everything like that. Now, if my daughter had, you know, Parkinson's disease, or cerebral palsy or epileptic seizures, for sure I would be giving her this as a medicine, you know what I mean? But at the time, as I was smoking it for my spiritual meditation or even my recreational, consumption, I would never recommend it, to a child or anybody whose body has not been developed fully, you know what I mean? For fear of introducing something, material that your body doesn't need anymore. Like an example, milk. You know what I mean? Like every animal drinks its mother's milk. Every mammal, right? Drinks its mother's milk, but stops when it reaches the age of adolescence and gets its nutrients elsewhere through the food that it eats. Even man, especially early man, right? Early man didn't have cattle that they, kept, graze themselves. Go out in the field and milk a bison or whatever, a woolly mammoth. They ate meat, they ate grains, a lot of greens, leaves and whatever. That's how you get your calcium, spinach, things like that. It's got vitamin D in it, calcium, stuff that you get in, Then, because, I guess, I don't know why, somehow they come to understand that, this cow milk is very good for us, so we can make all these products from it. And now I guess the only really problem with cow milk is twofold. One is the way they treat the cows. Horrible. The factory farm, issue. And then there's the mucus phlegm issue, the bile issue, you know what I mean? That overuse of lactose and lactated products give you a phlegm that can hold bacteria longer, and help it reproduce. And it happens in your throat, your stomach, whatever. That's why we get sick, So there has to be balance. You can't just,
Let's speak of those, like what you call antibiotics and all those chemicals that they have.
Well, the reason those antibiotics are in the milk is because of the factory farm nature of the cows, because they keep them in such close proximity to each other. If one cow catches a disease, all of a sudden 1 million cows have that disease, and they're more apt to have that disease because they feed them in these feedlots where they give them corn. Is one of their most, fed products, because they don't graze, these cows, because they're in tight, lots, plots filled with hundreds and hundreds of cows, and they have to feed them. Basically, they stick their head out of the trough, and that's where they live. And they feed them corn because corn is one of the crops that grow in America everywhere. They started to do soy, I think, in the 90s. Soy, is when soy got real big. But they use it for the same thing. They try to make bioplastics from it, and the byproducts from that process is things like nitroglycerin and stuff like that. So then they take the chaff, this practically inert, has no real nutritional value. It can barely be digested. You can only digest a fraction of corn, let alone a cow, even though it's got 4 stomachs. But it creates a lot of gas. So now the cow's getting all this gas built up in their stomach. It's getting bacteria that's feeding off of this corn. You know how you make like corn mash and whiskey and things like that? That's happening in their bellies. You know what I mean? It's poisoning these animals. And so that's why they give them antibiotics to try to fight that off. And they literally test it by having a hole in the cow's side. They stick their hand in there, man. It's absolutely inhumane. It's inhumane the way that they treat these animals, man. And now, they're twofold damaging the planet, because not only are they feeding these cows all this corn in these absurdly packed feedlots, which are giving these cows, unnatural amounts of gas. So they're farting unnatural amounts of methane, which are creating holes in the ozone and are speeding up the greenhouse gas process of this whole process of global warming. And now the destruction in the Amazon, and that they're chopping down, old growth rainforest in order for grazing ground for cattle, so that we can have more McDonald's, and it's just. The little girl from Sweden, she said it, man. Like, I hate to think that if you guys knew what you were doing and were doing it anyway, on purpose, you'd be evil. And she goes, I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that you people are just evil, you know? And that just struck me because I lived my life being like, these MFers are evil. They are evil. It's evil that's in control. This is what as a, you know, Rasta would always say, Babylon. This is Babylon, is the evil empire that's promoting these evil ways to live, which are giving us, you know, record amounts of cancer and depression and all these things that we didn't have to, you know, really deal with in the past. But yet when you say that to anybody, they're like, what do you want to die at 35 like they did in the past too? Do you want to have polio like they did in the past too? Do you want to, you know, have all the problems that they had in the past? We have problems today, there's problems in the past. Now our problems are affecting the planet on a global scale. You know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous, man, because now we have the technology to solve these problems. And we're literally fighting against it. There's a president of the United States who's repealing every environmental law that he can get his hands on. He wants to drill for oil and gas and coal in every national park, every ocean, every resort, every place that you would want to not spoil, that's left unspoiled. He wants to spoil it, you know, for profit. He wants to make all of his billionaire buddies more billions, you know, and it's destroying the planet. It's destroying the planet. Not to mention, you know, you got like Russia and China, like these other large economies, and India that have very loose and poor environmental standards, you know, on their factories because of their environmental and economic benefits at the cost of the environment. It leaves you scratching your head saying it's not logical and there's got to be a better way, and there is a better way, but nobody that's in control wants to do that better way because it's less cost effective, you know? And that's just a shame. That's just a real far out shame, you know? That's got to take some far out bearded sunglass hippie like me to point out that, you know, and have been probably since the 60s, hey, we're killing the planet. Save the planet, bro. You know, like, come on, man. It's not me you have to listen to at this point, you know, just like the little girl said. It's not me that if you listen to a 16-year-old girl is a problem for you, listen to the science. Listen to the scientists. They've been screaming this stuff at the top of their lungs for 30 years, you know? And now you got school children scared to death about what it's going to be like for them when they grow up, you know? You got school children scared to death that people are going to come running into school and shoot them dead, you know? That they're literally building schools now with this in mind. Oh, the hallways got to be curved, and, you know, so this way shooters don't have clear lines of sight. It's ridiculous. Excuse me. Hey, my darling. That's very well. Going good. We're podcasting.
Great. And then don't forget to eat it.
Yes. I did forget. So we'll probably take a lunch break now, eh? Do you want me to do anything also and save it aside, or I'll wait till you get here? All right. How's everything at the house? Who's home? Your sister? Oh, beautiful. It's my second favorite after Indian food. Avocado chips and cheese. Yeah, no, that's what I'm about to go do. Facade it up. Mercy me. Yes, sir. All right, love you, babe. All right, bye.
Just wanted to show you this new vegan spot we just discovered across the road.
Oh, really? Hey, I'm down with that. See, and then she said, I hope you get some prasad. You know, it tells you what the bad things to ignore, you know, and it tells you how to dovetail your spiritual life with your material life to make, you know, them both successful. That's what I found was one of the most uplifting messages, you know, in the philosophy, but not the philosophy. You know? We have so many misconceptions of spirituality and even ourselves due to, you know, the teachings of Babylon, as I like to call it. You know, the teachings of Babylon are teachings that hold people down. They don't give them freedom. They don't give them knowledge of self. They don't give them a knowledge of the absolute truth. They give them, you know, knowledge of consequences, material consequences. If you don't listen to us, you know, we're going to make your life miserable. If you don't listen to the state, they'll kill you. You know what I mean? If you don't listen to the police, they'll kill you. If you don't listen to the state, you won't get a good job. You won't progress in society. Things like that, you know. You have to surrender to the policeman's will in order for them to be your benefit or etc. and so forth. But it's not like, you know, in Krishna consciousness, and even, you know, in the teachings of His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, maybe not so much, I don't know what other Rastas say, but it balances out. I remember when I was in Jamaica, at the Naibingi Center in Jamaica, and we were at a Naibingi, and we were discussing something, and somebody posed a question to one of the elders in the Naibingi, and I had to answer in my head because I was doing a lot of reading while I was at this Naibingi Center, so I'm reading the Bible, reading the Quran, getting a lot of teachings, and I knew what this lady was talking about. You know, I said, hey, you know, it would be rude for me to just start talking, you know, to this person here. Let me just listen to what the elder has to say. And this elder said not only the exact same thing that I was thinking, but more. You know what I mean? He went deeper into it. And I was so taken aback, thinking I had all this book knowledge, you know, and how anxious I was to share it. Really, most of the time in life, you just shut the F up. Observe and listen, you know? And yeah, that was when I learned that lesson. And I still struggle to apply, but now I'm trying to run away with me. But it's true, you know? And for me, I find that kind of stuff really true. You try to tell a kid, just shut up, and listen, you know? And it sounds so harsh. Like you're really doing him a disservice by not letting him express himself. But you're doing him a service because he needs to learn to be quiet and pay attention, and he'll learn. You know, how many times we're going to argue with a 7-year-old in the house about what she wants to do and why she wants to do it. Don't want to hear why she shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? And why it's not the right time for it to be done. Because it's bedtime, you need to go to bed. No, you can't have a sugary drink right now. You know, and little things that you know it'll keep her awake. You know, it's not going to give her peaceful sleep. It's one of those things you do. She knows I'm going to keep good before I go to bed. Nothing you say can convince me otherwise, you know? So if I drink this cold drink, I'm not going to go to sleep? Is that what you're telling me? No, well, I'm saying it's going to be harder for you to sleep, or it's going to be this and that. And we're just big children, you know? Our bodies grow, but our minds are rarely developed past the age of 16 or 13. That's all they get stuck at. It tells you what the bad things to ignore, you know, and it tells you how to dovetail your spiritual life with your material life to make them both successful. That's what I found one of the most uplifting messages, you know, in the philosophy, in philosophy. We have so many misconceptions of spirituality, and even ourselves, due to, you know, the teachings of Babylon, as I like to call it. Teachings of Babylon, teaching that hold people down. They don't give them freedom. They don't give them knowledge of self. They don't give them a knowledge of the absolute truth. They give them, you know, knowledge of consequences, material consequences. If you don't listen to us, you know, we're going to make your life miserable. If you don't listen to the state, they'll kill you. You know what I mean? If you don't listen to the police, they'll kill you. If you don't listen to the state, you won't get a good job. You won't progress in society. Things like that, you know. You have to surrender to the police will in order for them to be your benefit, etc. and so forth. But it's not like, you know, Christian consciousness, and even, you know, teachings of His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, maybe not so much, I don't know what other Rastas say. But it balances out. It's fun. I remember when I was in Jamaica, at the Naibingi Center in Jamaica, and we were discussing something. Somebody posed a question to one of the elders in the Naibingi, and I had to answer in my head because I was doing a lot of reading while I was at this Naibingi Center, so I was reading the Bible, reading the Quran, getting a lot of teachings, and I knew what this lady was talking about, you know. But I said, hey, you know, it'd be rude for me to just start talking, you know, to this person here. Let me just listen to what the elder has to say. And this elder said not only the exact same thing that I was thinking, but more. You know what I mean? He went deeper into it. And I was so taken aback, thinking that I had all this book knowledge, you know, and how anxious I was to share it. And really, most of the time in life, you need to just shut up, observe and listen, you know? And yeah, that was when I learned that lesson. And I still struggle to apply the mouth things on the way. But it's true, you know? To me, I find that kind of stuff very true. Try to tell a kid, just shut up, and listen, you know, and it sounds so harsh, like you're really doing them a disservice by not letting him express himself, but you're doing him a service, because he needs to learn to be quiet and pay attention, and he'll learn. You know, how many times I got to argue with a 7-year-old in my house about what she wants to do and why she wants to do it. Don't want to hear why she shouldn't do it, you know what I mean, or why it's not the right time for it to be done. Because it's bedtime, you need to go to bed. No, you can't have a sugary drink right now, you know, and it's little things that you know it'll keep her awake, you know it's not going to give her peaceful sleep, it's the worst thing she can do right now. She knows that, she knows that one that tastes good before I go to bed. Nothing you say can convince me otherwise, you know. So if I drink this cold drink, I'm not going to go to sleep, is that what you're telling me? No, I'm saying it's going to be harder for you to sleep, or it's going to be this and that. No, man. We're just big children, you know. Our bodies grow, our minds grow, barely develop past the age of 16 or 13, you know, somewhere down. We get stuck at. It's a shame. Oh, who's this? Another guitar player.
Oh yes, that's Viresh Soni, jeweler and guitar.
So I'm talking about.
Yeah, so how do you conclude on that?
How do I what?
Just keep quiet and listen.
Oh, how do you do that? You fight. You fight the urge to talk. It's hard.
Nowadays, everybody has something to say, even if they don't know what it is they're talking about.
Yeah, in this world now, you know, we really add value to that know nothing, know it all. You know what I mean? Like, instead of true knowledge, we add value to people's, whimsical opinions and stuff like that. You know, there's this hedonistic nature that's just, you know, we're like living in the last days of Rome nowadays. You know, this whole way of, I'm right, no matter if I'm wrong, my opinion's still valid. You know, and it's like, no, but you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like
false ego.
Yeah, and that's what we perpetuate. The Babylon system loves to perpetuate the false ego because they can control you easier that way. Once you believe in something that's false, they can manipulate it because it's true. And it's a system that's been going on since the pyramids. You know, like they really got it down to where the knowledge that came from Egypt and traveled to Jerusalem, or through Jerusalem to Europe in the Middle Ages, you know, and still to this day it runs us. It's nothing that's advanced in philosophy, it's just advanced in tech, you know. So we have more of an instant gratification to our queries rather than wondering for a really long time. And if we don't get the answer we want within this unrealistic period of time, you know, we're willing to accept falsehood. Well, I asked you that question earlier, and you couldn't give me the answer, so I went with Joe over here, who told me that, you know, money is everything. You know, and it's like, you know, you're going to learn out yourself that money's not everything at some point. Maybe when you have a lot of it, maybe when you break yourself, you know, going broke, trying to gain it. But at some point, you're going to realize that money is not everything. Self-absorption, stroking your ego is the best way. You know, it's the philosophy that's been talked about in music since time memorial. Like rock and roll was always evil because it dealt with, you know, egotistical things. You know, talking about my girl, talking about how I feel, teachers on my back. Like it was always this rebellious kind of deal. And you know, so it was called evil. And then, you know, you get today, you got people like the Nicki Minaj's and the Cardi B's really getting into the,
you know,
the self-indulgent lifestyle.
my friends and I used to laugh about this actually. Like how everything just keeps getting worse. First you'll have like, let's say whoever comes through, she's not wearing anything. Well, she's dressed, and it's kind of like see-through.
Sure.
And then maybe shorts up to halfway down the thigh, and then the next one's gonna be, well, I can outdo that. And then it keeps going on and on and on to what you see now. It's full-on nudity.
We keep building on what was in the past. We keep building on what came previously. And we're trying to outdo it, you know? We outdo it until the past becomes, you know, kitschy or, you know, a desire. Like you have that yearning to go back in time, you know, and then start to go kids again. After decades of men having clean faces like the 80s, the 90s, you know, the 80s was clean-faced, heavy metal, you know, men look like women, you know, they wear hairspray, spandex, white people were very much into heavy metal. Then when you got to the 90s, they were into grunge, so people were just a little less shaven, maybe that little mustache here and a little strap, you know, they're looking like the guy from Soundgarden or Johnny Depp or Nirvana, you know, it's that grungy look. And then by the time you got into the 2000s, you know, people started to get, you know, reclaim their manhood, so to speak. And they're going into the woods and screaming. You never hear that philosophy?
Yeah.
They go back, masculine things and whatever. Now big beards are popular again, you know? I've been rocking a beard since, like, I was 16. I started to grow, you know, little bits of facial hair. Like, I was one of the first kids in the neighborhood to be able to get served in a liquor store. So we would pull up in the liquor store. I'd have to go in when I was 16, 17. Oh, yeah, let me get some beers or Southern Comfort. And they wouldn't card me. You know, we go off in the trunk.
Yeah, so what's up with the glasses?
Oh, the glasses. Yeah, other than me trying to look extremely cool or corny, however you want to say it, I'm not a hipster doofus, but my son had broke my seeing spectacles, and so I'm blind, basically. And to accentuate that, I wear dark sunglasses now. So basically you don't see me squinting. I squint at everything. I don't want to look like some black-faced squint, peeking at everything, but I'm blind. I'm blind. And it was funny, today we actually went to the optometrist and broke my broken frames with the lenses out. Hopefully we can find just some frames to pop my lenses back in. And the lady looked at my lenses and was like, oh, he's blind. And I was looking at my wife like, I told you. Don't think it, because I'm sweeping the floor in the house, you know, and then she comes later. There's stuff all over the place. Why is the floor still a mess? I thought you told me you cleaned it. I did. I didn't see it. He said I am blind. That gentleman that was just on there.
Yeah.
I just met him.
Who, Giri Dari.
What's his name?
Giri Dari.
Giri Dari. He's a follower of Sri Ravi Shankar. Is that the same one? Or is that somebody different?
I'm not sure.
I think I look like him. And again, I'm blind, so I didn't really get a 20/20 vision of him. But he was a really cool guy. He told me some great things. It's the same guy who's talking about how he works with the prisons, you know, trying to rehabilitate parolees.
No, he deals with musical instruments.
Oh no, different.
Yeah. What's this that's playing?
Gracie, that's the name of the record.
Jalal.
I love the newest song. Does it say who's singing?
Rebel Regulars and General Things.
That's why I like these MP4s, you know, you don't really have to write everything down. I did write everything down, but I showed the record. So you can always see these.
Came across a crate full of old records. The small, what do you call those small ones? 45s,
yes.
45s. Like
That's reggae. Reggae is mostly
$5,000 a piece.
$5,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like,
It was reggae, or what kind of music was it?
I didn't even go through it.
No.
Just because it was vinyl, it just
Yeah.
made me.
No, I mean, I had such a great vinyl collection. And the vinyl collection that I had since I was a kid got ruined when I got into my motorcycle actually. Because I had brought it to my motorcycle clubhouse. I kept it in my bedroom. And when I went to the hospital for 4 months, something went to neglect in my room. There was a hole in the ceiling. It would rain. Like it filled up the tub that I had all my records in. Literally, like record soup. And I had all these classics from the 70s. Pink Floyd's, Rolling Stones, Cheech Chong albums. Just all originals too, man. Jimi Hendrix. But knowing that I could just pretty much get all these things off of YouTube nowadays, no stress.
I still have, like, I don't know, I guess it's the novelty of it.
No, it is. I actually turned my daughter on the wax, and I got her one of those little record players in a box, with the lid. It's from the 60s. It's really expensive, I don't think it's in 100% shape, but it's one of those. I forget what they call them. Speakers built in. They're really popular in the 60s and 70s. And some old guy gave it to me from West Philly. He was in the records. All these records, and he gave me his record player, and I was like, yeah.
You got like you've met like some really cool people.
Yeah.
Who just gave you stuff.
Yeah, a lot, because I've never been, I'm an idiot when it comes to money. Like, if I have money, I buy the stupidest things. Like, the last time I had money, last time I was making good money, I was probably selling weed or something like that while I was living in New Jersey, and money was coming easy. And I was like, I got a crate, what do you call that thing? When people buy things online, not Craigslist, but the other big one. People buy things on
Amazon? Yeah.
Amazon. Maybe it was Craigslist, I don't know. But anyway, I started buying stuff. Buying a lot of stuff, and it was stupid stuff. Things like, I got into clothes
from the 1800s.
Yeah, blazers, waistcoats, suspenders, pants that went up to like here, like up to your waist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I loved it, but I would, I'd have to wear it with Chuck Taylors or something. I don't think I got the old shoes. I got into it a long time. See, I'm like some of my hobbies, two of my hobbies, not hobbies, but whatever you want to call it, things that I'm interested in, I really like Doctor Who and Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
So I would go and buy Doctor Who's memorabilia and Sherlock Holmes, memorabilia. So I wanted to dress like I was in the 1800s, but I wanted, pocket watch, things like that. But the pocket watch was a Doctor Who pocket watch, so it lit up, and I had sonic screwdrivers that didn't do anything, little toys, and something from the TV show, And I would order all this stuff online, But then the good thing that I used to do a lot with my money, was take my daughter out for dinner a lot. And we would go to like the top restaurants in Philadelphia. Like here I am looking like just like I do, scrunchy, long beer, grip jeans, whatever. We'd go into like Morimoto's, sushi place. Morimoto's like one of the Iron Chefs, like on TV, on Chef Channel or whatever, Food Network. We'd go to Morimoto's restaurant, spend like $250 on a meal for me and my daughter. Have the omakase, which is like a 9-course chef's suggestion, meal. And I would just love doing that stuff with her. We'd go to Belgian restaurants, Belgian bars, like all these restaurants, which were also bars because they would have the best craft beer. Belgian beer was like some of the best beer in the world. So these bars are very popular in Philadelphia. So here I come with my, 15, 13-year-old daughter, all throughout her teens. We'd go to these restaurants. Well, I'd be drinking beer, she'd be drinking, cold drink. It's, but we'd be ordering duck and fucking frog's legs and, you know, weird, like, just food, you know, like that would excite. Like, we go to French restaurants, try the confit, things like that, you know. And she really got into it. We go to Chinatown, and, you know, she used to love the most, you know, the exotic food. You know, something that just looks weird. Is
that why she became a chef?
That is why she became a chef, yeah. So the thousands of dollars that I spent on her, like going out to dinner before I got arrested, and then that money, well, cut off. It inspired her to want to become a chef, yeah. So she ended up, we applied at several culinary institutes, and thought she was going to go to one in Philadelphia, a nice big one in Philadelphia. But she ended up getting accepted to this one, Augustus Escoffier Culinary Institute in Austin. And it turns out it's like one of the best in the world. The guy's really good. And now she's $30,000 in debt and a chef working in a food truck. You know, until she gets her shit together. But she's got some really good plans, which I really want to help her on. Which I don't know if we talked about this before, but she wants to go live with her grandmother. She wants to go back to Philadelphia from Texas, live with her grandmother, her mother's mother, for a few months and learn some recipes from her, because her grandmother's from Haiti, you know? Yeah, so she knows a lot of Haitian cooking and stuff. And so she wants to get stories and learn how to cook Haitian food. And then, you know, zhuzh it up a little bit, like kind of, you know, add the modern twist to her traditional thing. So then she can make a cookbook. That's like 1/3 the story about her and her grandmother, 1/3 traditional Haitian recipes, and 1/3 modern versions of the traditional recipe. And I was like, that's a great idea. Then you should go to my mom and learn some Italian cooking. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, Italian American. My mom, she's born in New Jersey. You know, she's Italian. And there's a difference between Italian New Jersey and Italy, you know? Yeah. That being said, so I said you should do that same thing with your other grandma, you know, and do Italian food and then, you know, your version of it. Then come here to Africa and, you know, learn, you know, some of the township cooking, you know, out of the Chinsanyama type stuff, from those ingredients, from pop and meat and acha. You know, what can you do to make a, you know, a really far out, you know, meal? And I hope it works out for her. So that's really the goal, you know. And so I think it's this month. This month, I think she's moving back to the East Coast from Texas, and she's going to give this a shot. You know? Yeah. So I've never tasted her food yet, because I've been in Africa since she's graduated from culinary school. I've only tasted her food before she went to culinary school. Yeah. Which was great. I mean, you're talking about a 16-year-old kid who would ask me for Jack Daniel's whiskey so she can cook with it. She said, I want to make mac and cheese, a Jack Daniel's mac and cheese. And I'm like, you know, I trust and believe you. I'm going to buy you a pint of Jack Daniel's, and, you know, and then I'd go to Philadelphia and do what I have to do. I'd come back to my parents' house where my daughter was staying a week later, and that bottle was still there with only this much taken out, because she only used a little bit to cook with. I'd end up drinking it, or my girlfriend would, before she would have a chance to even cook with it again, you know? And I'm going to tell you, the Jack Daniel's mac and cheese is amazing. Like, it gives it a really nice smoky flavor, you know? Because the alcohol evaporates off, and you're just left with the flavor. And I remember being like, oh, but Gabby, have you ever tried Jack Daniel's before? And she's like, no. And I'm like, take a sip, because I wanted to see her make that face, like, ah, and be like, no, I'm never going to drink, you know, because it's horrible. She took a sip of this shit and was like, okay, this is good. I can see it's very smoky. It's got the charcoal hints in there. And I'm looking at her like, no, this is not the reaction I wanted. I wanted you to practically throw up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this tastes like gasoline. I'm not drinking that. And it backfired on me. But she's still, I mean, you know, I don't know what she's been through now for the past few years. Except, you know, how we communicate on Skype and stuff. I'm really looking forward to bringing her out here. And that's the goal. That's my goal. That's the only reason really why. I mean, I'm not a money guy. I travel, and when I do, it's most of the time, when I travel far and long and far, it's on somebody, you know, who wants to put me on this mission, for some reason. I always say it's God intervened, Like I remember the first time I went to Jamaica, I had to sell my car, sell my motorcycle, quit my job, break up with I did so much I gave up to go to Jamaica, and I ended up getting there, and I had, after making some money, like $200, and I was there for like 3 weeks in Jamaica, just portioning out this money. I went to India, somebody sent me to India, they wanted me to open up a tattoo parlor, so like, yeah, we'll get you out here, and got my ticket, sorted out my visa. When I came here to Africa, somebody paid for my ticket here. I came to Africa, and I had, I think, 600 rands. Somebody gave me 600 rands before I left America. That's all the money I had. And I got here with the 600 rands, and it kicked me hard in the stomach when the first thing I bought, but in the airport, I wanted to buy a American to South African plug adapter,
Yeah.
And it was like 250 rands, and I was like, this is not a lot of money. Like, there goes a third of it already, you know what I mean? And now I'm left with 400 rands, and I'm just like, wow, I gotta make this stretch, 9 months. I didn't let it stretch that long, but I stayed in Alex for 9 months until I started, getting on my feet. Living with my wife and stuff. Before she was married. But yeah, we got it together, man. A lot of traveling I did like that. Traveling across the country, America. Went to Amsterdam 3 times. Jamaica 3 times. Traveled that much. A lot of people think I've traveled a lot more than I have, because when I travel, I don't just go there for 2 weeks and come back. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a vacation, it's not a holiday. It's like, I want to do it the real people. I've been to Jamaica 3 times, and the only time I was ever went to the beach was like the third time I went on my honeymoon. I took my wife, so we stayed at the beachside. But every other time, I'm in the hills. I'm up in the hills somewhere in a hammock, in somebody's yard, like I'm not. I wanted to make sure I was staying. I spent the least amount of money on where I was staying, because I'm only sleeping in Europe, not hanging out there all day. It's crazy too, the cool places that I found. Like, I remember when I was in Matura, and I went to go to where Christian was born. And I'm trying to, and I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't know where I was staying or anything like that. So I'm like, let me go walk around and see if I can find some place to stay, for my budget. And I saw some sign that said, like, room for, and it was in the back of a shop, so there was like all the snacks and everything in the shop, and you have to go behind the shop up the stairs. I think it was like 150 or 200. And it was like right out my window, and I could see the temple, you know what I mean, where Krishna was born, like right across the street. And I'm thinking like, hey, I thought this would be a high-priced place because it's right across the street, Gee, 200 rupees, which turned out to be like, at the time, I think it was like $4 or something like that. Yeah. The only time I think I spent 300 rupees was when I was in Nepal. That was Nepalese rupees, which were less than Indian rupees, so it still turned out to be like $4. You know what I mean? Like, it was amazing. Varanasi, same thing. It's got a cheap little room, and it's right next to the Ghats, so I can just get up any hour of the day or night, walk down the Ghats. Bring my children from afar, gather my children from afar, bring my children from afar. Lessons you learn like that when you just try to stick with the locals. A little bit more, and people trying to huckster you all the time, and, you become real wary of that when you're in a place where not many tourists are. And so people just kind of tend to leave you alone. They figure you've been here before, and you know what you're doing. Even when I didn't, So you get a lot of people talking to you in their traditional languages and you have no idea what they're saying, and you're just trying to put it together with what little you remember. Amazing. I remember, I like telling this story because this is a story that really is about patience, and I was in Nepal and I had Delhi belly. I caught it somewhere in India and my stomach was just flip-flopping, man. I'm constantly running to the toilet, which was a shared toilet for the floor. I didn't have a toilet in my room, so I had to get out of my room and go to the toilet back and forth. And, I got some ganja and some hash charas, and so I'm smoking it. It's kind of binding my stomach so I can, not be so loose-gutted. And I would go out on little adventures for like an hour or two at a time and make sure I can get back to my room when I had to use the toilet again. It's a crazy little method that I come up with. But I must say, I never crapped myself the whole time I was in India, which I hear a lot of people have done, but it never happened to me. Even if I was on a 14-hour bus ride or something like that, it just didn't happen. But I digress. So I'm walking through, Nepal streets, and my head is full of, smoke. So I'm high, and this guy comes up to me and he's trying to sell me a flute, right? And he had this 3-foot, I told you this story before? He had a 3-foot bamboo flute. Beautiful. And he's telling me, it's a perfect pitch, and, it's a great bamboo flute, and it's, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure, but I don't have anything. You know what I mean? I can't offer you anybody, especially with this thing is worth, I think I might took 300 rupees with me as I went out in my back. Never and he's like, oh man, where are you from? Where are you from? It's like everybody says to me, oh, I'm from Philly. Oh, U.S., okay, da-da-da-da. He said, can I buy you a cup of chai? And I was like, yeah, man, that'd be cool. But I can't buy a flute. He's like, yeah, I know, no pressure, you gotta buy a flute. So we literally climbed over this wall that was still being constructed, and there was like an alley. So they were bricking off this entrance into the alley. Stepped over it as the bricks were only, knee high. And then we get into the alley, and we're walking, I'm trying to remember my way back, like, where's this guy taking me? All the back of these houses and stuff. All of a sudden, there's this little chai wall in the middle of nowhere in this alley in the back, and he makes us each a cup of chai. So we're sitting there drinking our chai, and as I'm drinking this guy's playing this flute. Hypnotizing me. Like I said, a 3-foot long bamboo flute. These are all like, wow, mind blowing. This guy is just playing it, looking at me. I had it on recording for like 6 months. I don't know where I heard this, but this recording is such an amazing recording of this guy playing the flute. So after he's done playing the flute, he looks at me. He's like, "I'm done drinking the chai. And there's these little kids around and everything. You know what I mean? That's surroundings now. How much are you gonna give me for this flute, bro? I told you and I told you and I told you. I do not have money for this flute. This is not a haggling technique. I would love to buy this flute, but any offer that I could seriously make would be an insult to you, because this thing is worth much more than what I can afford to give you. Yeah, but how much? How much would you be willing to pay? What can you give me for this flute?" I said, "Bro, 200 rupees. No. That's an insult." I said, "Well, you told me to tell you a number. That's the only number that I can offer you. That's what I have in my pocket. I'm not giving you anything else, you know what I mean? I don't even want the flute, Okay, 200. It's worth 2,000. I'm like, I know it's worth 2,000. I wish I could give you 2,000 rupees. It's only like 20 bucks or something, But no, I can't, I got 200. I took it. I got this 3-foot long bamboo flute that I cannot play. You know what I mean? I tried blowing into it. Nothing. You know what I mean? And now I'm walking away and I'm feeling stupid. So I just bought this guy in Huxtable buying this flute. I left with the intention. I'm telling everybody that comes out of the shop, no, I'm not. I'm just looking at this browser. I'm not buying anything. So now I'm walking back to the hotel, or the guest house, and people are seeing me walking down the road with this 3-foot long flute. Hey, You play the flute? American, you play the flute? And I'm like, no, I don't play the flute. I'm like, oh, you got this flute. And everybody's grabbing this flute from me and they want to try to play it. Nobody can make a note out of this thing. And I'm thinking, I saw this man play this flute like an angel. Sounded like an angel. And nobody else can make a note out of this thing. You know what I mean? Now we're walking, now this other guy, he's got 2 buckets, got a stick with 2 buckets around his neck, full of flutes. Wooden flutes, bamboo flutes. And he sees me. Hey, you play the flute? No. How much did you pay for that flute? I'm like 200 rupees. The guy's like, no. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to tell you, I paid 200 rupees. I don't even play the flute. I don't want the flute. But my daughter, she played the flute in the school band, you know what I mean? So I figured maybe I'll give her the flute or something like that. Well, this guy goes, man, you must buy my flute. So I'm like, bro, I don't want a flute, you know what I mean? I got a flute, and I don't even want a flute. How much are your flutes? Knowing that I paid 200 for this, what are you gonna give me? He's like, take 2 for 100. I'm like, what? Well, I can't pass that up, so my last 100, I give the guy. He gives me 2 more flutes. I go back to my room, I make it back to my room, and I put the flutes on the bed. I look at him, dude, I start like tearing up, like, I'm such an idiot. Why do I have 3 flutes and I can't play the flute? I went out there with the intention of not buying anything, and I can't, and I bought 3 flutes. And it drove me mad. After 2 weeks, I blew into that flute and couldn't make a noise. This thing had me in tears, bro. Because I felt like such an idiot. I'm never gonna learn this. Never gonna learn this. And then one day, like magic, like I put it down for a couple of days. Forget this flute. I picked it up one day. I got so happy. I couldn't even stretch my fingers over all the holes. They were so far apart. I was missing like 1 or 2 holes. And eventually I was able to play with my fingers on there. Another week or so will go by. I'm sitting there playing. I was walking around with this flute so much, people were calling me tree bunker, which means like 3 foot, like 3 foot, because I had a 3 foot flute. You know, and so hey, tree bunker baba. You know, that's what they call me, tree bunker baba. And I would play this flute. Everybody loved me playing this flute. They would just sit and watch me playing this flute. I didn't know the notes, I didn't know any tunes. I would just kind of harmonize and do a little, you know, kind of thing. And I really got happy. It really made me happy, the fact that I was patient enough to sit down for weeks on end until I could make a note, until I could play, you know, a little tune, keep me happy. Then I was coming home, and I go to the airport, and my flute wouldn't fit inside my suitcase, you know. So I had my flute in one hand, and I had a cane, a walking cane, in the other. And this guy, security, was like, no, I can't let you do that to security. That's 2 sticks. And I'm like, 2 sticks? One is a cane, and one is a flute. You know what I mean? This guy didn't know nothing about it. So you're gonna put them in your bag, or you know, I don't know what, because you can't bring them through. You know? I'm like, no, it's a hollow bamboo flute. What kind of damage can I do with this flute? It doesn't matter. You know, this guy's really being a dick. You know, and I think this was the first time somebody was being a dick to me in India the whole time. You know, and it was like some Sikh security guard on the way, you know, on to the plane. So I didn't know what to do. Finally, I seen a guy who was wrapping things outside of people's luggage, you know. And what he would do was, I guess, shrink wrap, put plastic wrap around the outside of your luggage so you could attach something to it. So sure enough, I attached the flute and the cane to the outside of my bag, checked my bag. I get off in Philly, that thing was squished flatter than a piece of paper. That flute totally just was in pieces. And I just shook my head and smiled and was like, there's my lessons. Here's your Zen lesson for today in impermanence. So I learned how to play the flute. It broke, and I've never played a flute again. I would love to get another bamboo flute. I wonder if I can still play. I wonder if I still got that knowledge.